What's going on, everyone? Today we have got the final tactical masterclass here on the channel for FM24, and today it's a pretty special one because it is a Champions League edition. We are going to be covering not only Inter Milan's tactics, which I have actually already done that really in depth with them, but we're also going to be covering PSG, as those are going to be the two to face off in the Champions League final. That'll be pretty fun to cover both sides, and for you guys to be able to download these tactics and try them for yourselves within your FM24 saves, which if you wish to do so, I'll be linking my Discord down below in the description. You can download them from the download section of the Discord. But I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get into things. So, like I mentioned, I've already done this with Inter Milan, which makes it kind of easy to cover Inter Milan. So that is going to be the club that we cover first. So we're going to do it over on Tactical Board first, and then we'll get into kind of what the results are with this sort of tactic within FM. Alright, so here we have the tactic in front of us. They play a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2, however you kind of want to term it. It is, for me, one of my favorite tactical systems within the world of football. It's absolutely amazing. And within FM, it is a lot of fun to utilize, especially when you recreate it kind of to the as close as you can get it, because obviously there are some limitations with FM. But I think the system that I've come up with in the past, it works really, really well and replicates what they do. And one of the key things within their system, as not only does Inter Milan have something key about their system, PSG does as well. But Inter's is very, very intriguing because the entire midfielder, defensive midfielders, central midfielders, however you kind of want to term them in this system, they end up switching with the center backs. So at times, you may see the entire midfield drop and then your defenders start moving up. And that actually played into the goal that tied it up to send the game to extra time, because Acerbi was essentially playing as a striker when he ended up scoring that goal. And now you're probably wondering, okay, NFM, how do we get this switch to happen? Because it's not easy to make it happen, and it gradually just happens naturally, actually, with the roles that we end up implementing. All three defensive and central midfielders, however you want to term them, they will be in the defensive midfield area though, they are halfbacks, so they all slide down. And then the outside center backs, they're wide center backs on support. And then the central one is a libero on support. I contemplating doing all three on libero. Thought that might be a little bit too aggressive and they would just kind of disregard the switch entirely. So I ended up having these wide ones as the wide center backs on support. And the interchangeability is just absolutely next level. Another thing that is next level in this system is that the wingbacks are complete wingbacks. And with DeMarco and Dumfries, they're pretty solid defensively, but they are absolutely unbelievable in attack, especially playmaking wise. And then you've got the two incredible strikers up top in Marcus Thuram and Lautaro Martinez. So when an attack with this system, this is really when you start to see that interchangeability of these roles, because sometimes the defensive midfielders will be back and then your center backs will be forward, or maybe two of them will be forward with one of the defensive midfielders. You'll have two back and then two midfielders up, or depending on the move, they may not do that change at all. It is all down to sort of player knowledge. And if you have players that are super, super smart, so their mentals are very good, then this system is going to be very good for you as well. Especially if you have players that kind of fit into these roles also, it's going to be very good. But one move that I absolutely love seeing within this system, and I highlighted it in the previous video that I did with this tactic as well, is that the way that the wide center backs work, they cause chaos and mayhem. And that is one of the key attributes to this system. It causes chaos and mayhem, and your opponent does not know how to counter this system a whole heck of a lot. And a majority of the time, sometimes not at all. So Basek here, he's one of those wide center backs. He will come up, they'll say, all right, say Bastoni has the ball. He plays it to Hakan. Hakan starts moving up. Bastoni ends up moving up. Barella's going up. Acerbi then starts making a run. Mkhitaryan makes a run. But Basek has already moved here. Hakan, he's going to make it look like, okay, I'm going to be trying to play this ball to Martinez. But actually, it's going to Basek, far post, goal. That move happens so often in the match engine, it's unbelievable. And if you have, say, for example, you are Liverpool and you've got Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate, and then you're playing Ryan Gravenberch back as that libero, those three would be ruthless with a system like this, just like Bastoni, Acerbi, and Bisek are. They are ruthless with this system, and it's very good, very fun to utilize. Now, if you want a super in-depth analysis on the Inter Milan tactics and how they work and all that, I'll be linking the Inter Milan video down below in the description. You guys can feel free to check that out if you wish to do so. But now we're going to take a look at things here in FM. So how did they perform with this tactic in FM? They ended up winning the league at 99 points, and they also won the Champions League, which I think they are most definitely capable of doing. As after the round of 16, I actually thought we were going to get PSG and Inter Milan just because of how good those two are, and sure enough, we did end up getting them. And I think that Inter Milan, with the system that they play, it's going to be difficult for PSG, but PSG, they are very difficult themselves, which we'll get to in a moment. But doing a double here, winning the league as well as winning the Champions League, that is absolutely fantastic. When we're looking at the data here, averaging 3 goals per game, while averaging under a goal per game, which is absolutely fantastic, especially with all the interchanging going on. They're still very compact as a defensive unit. When it comes to how the players performed overall, Marcus Thuram and Lautaro Martinez led the way with goals. Marcus Thuram with 39 of them, and then Lautaro Martinez, he had 36. Francesco Acerbi had 27 goals, not only from that libero position, but also due to the set pieces that he utilized, which those will be able to be downloaded from the download section of the Discord as well if you wish to try him out. But Hakan, he also had 15 as a halfback. Very, very good player in this system. And then it kind of tapered off after that. But assist-wise, we've got Denzel Dumfries with 28 assists, Hakan with 23, Bastoni as one of those wide center backs, he had 15, Augusto with 10, Martinez with 10. The reason why DeMarco only had 9 assists is because he only played 21 games, because he broke his leg during testing, so he couldn't really do anything about that. But, I mean, overall, they did absolutely fantastic. But now we get to the tactic. Once again, if you wish to download it, I will be linking my Discord down below in the description. You can download it from the download section of the Discord. And the tactic file name you will be looking for is Gormy's 3-5-2 Inzaghi ball. We've got 2 advanced forwards on attack up top. We got complete wingbacks on attack out wide. 3 halfback on defense. We got 2 wide center backs on support, a libero on support, and a sweep keeper on support. The advanced forwards on attack have dribble more, shoot more often, tackle harder, and mark tighter. The complete wingbacks on attack have crosses aimed at center, dribble more, shoot more often, tackle harder, mark tighter. Outside halfbacks on defend have take more risks, stay wider, tackle harder, and mark tighter. The central halfback on defend has take more risks, tackle harder, and mark tighter. With those wide center backs on support, they have crosses aimed at center, dribble more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. The libero on support has dribble more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. And sweep keeper on support was left as is. Mentality-wise, this is played with an attacking mentality. You can choose to go positive and or balanced. If you do choose to go balanced, feel free to bump up the positive or attacking while in game. When we are in possession of the ball, we have fairly narrow attacking width. We focus play through the middle and play out from the defense. We work the ball into the box using the low crosses in the final third. We have standard passing directness and slightly higher tempo. When in transition, we counter press and counter, distributing quickly to the center backs by rolling the ball out. Once out of possession, we have a mid-block line of engagement, much higher defensive line, and slightly more often trigger press. There we have it for covering the Inter Milan tactic. Now we're going to go ahead and cover the PSG tactic. So here we are with the tactical board once again, this time though with PSG. Now, I said Inter Milan and PSG both have something unique about their systems. The unique thing with Inter Milan is that their defensive midfield becomes their center backs become their midfield. It's very interchangeable. With PSG, they don't really have something like that, but the special thing about them is their number 10. Their number 10 has been Ousmane Dembele. He has been absolutely insane. Essentially how he plays is as a false 9. So a striker that's going to drop a little bit deeper, a little bit more free range to what he is able to do within the side. And a lot of the play revolves around him and him getting others into the game as well. But their midfield is absolutely fantastic. As you can see, this allows them to kind of set up in a diamond here. It is very, very good. And I don't really see them as having like one designated ball winner, one designated playmaker, Vitinha makes plays, Ruiz makes plays, Neves makes plays. Neves wins the ball, Ruiz wins the ball, Vitinha wins the ball. So I didn't really focus the roles on the ability to be ball winners. Yes, I do have one focused on being a playmaker, but I did also want to try and replicate it to the best of my ability. It's kind of hard in FM to do it with how they get their back line to form, because with this back line, essentially how it works is Mendes is usually staying further back than Achraf Hakimi. Hakimi is playing like a fullback or wingback on attack. That is his job. And that is the role that I did end up giving to him, because as these wingers are going to be cutting inside, Hakimi goes on his runs. Now, Mendes goes on runs when he needs to. However, in build-up, they also sometimes build up with a back three, and he is one of those players that ends up staying back. It was kind of hard to replicate that within FM, so without making him an inverted fullback and putting Mendes as an inverted fullback, that's going to waste his talent. So I ended up just making him a fullback on support. So in build-up, it would kind of stay like this, but he would stay a little bit further back than, say, Hakimi would. And then if he needs to go on those runs, Mendes can definitely go on those runs and make plays. But with this system and how I ended up making it in attack, this is essentially how it will look once you build up into the final third. With Mendes being able to kind of be one of those players that you cycle the ball off to within your side. However, he can make those overlapping runs if he needs to, due to the instructions that will have on his role. But you will have the ability to still kind of have this turns essentially into like a lopsided box or a diamond, still right here with Dembele, Ruiz, Vitinha, and Neves. But Doué plays magically in this. Kvaratskhelia plays magically in this. And Hakimi can be a goal scorer or a playmaker as well. Then you got your kind of anchors back here with Marquinhos and Pacho. But with this box here, with this lopsided diamond box here, it allows for the ball to move very easily with this PSG side, because they can lull you to sleep. They encourage you to press them, and then it's just a dagger every single time. And they caught Arsenal with that a couple of times. Thankfully, on one of those moves, they did end up scoring as well. But Dembele being the false nine, allowing him to drop, allows Ruiz to go forward, Neves to go forward, Vitinha if he wants to. It allows Doué to become the player that he has become recently, that we have seen from him in the Champions League. It allows Kvaratskhelia to be his dangerous self. Dembele is like a Swiss Army knife as that false nine. And within the system, it allows him to definitely get the most out of being in that role. So now moving over to FM, how did this system end up doing within FM? It ended up winning the quadruple with this PSG side. They won the league on 89 points, only losing one game in the league. They beat Arsenal in the Champions League final, and of course we know they beat Arsenal to move on to the Champions League final in reality. They also won the Coupe de France and the Trophée des Champions. With this system, and with the system that Inter Milan implement as well, this could be one of the most entertaining Champions League finals that we have gotten in a long time, because of how the systems work. We've seen it already with Inter Milan. We have now kind of broken it down here with PSG as well. And it is going to make for a very entertaining game from a tactical perspective, especially. It might end up being like the scoreline here where they beat Arsenal 1-0 in the Champions League final, or it might be 5-4. So it's these teams are going to make us realize, okay, they have really kind of been pushed to the forefront with how their tactics are now, such as Hansi Flick with Barcelona. He has kind of reinvigorated that side with his system as well. And these two teams are going to put on a show. But just like the Inter Milan tactic, the PSG tactic, as we can see here, goals per game, over 3 this time, and still under a goal conceded per game as well. So defensively sound enough, as well as pretty good attacking-wise too. When it comes to how the team performed overall in all competitions, we've got Kvaratskhelia leading the way with 35 goals. Ousmane Dembele with 21, even though he only played in 35 games, unfortunately. Doué with 17. Neves with 17. Kang-in Lee with 15. Fabian with 13. Gonzalo Ramos with 12. And Marquinhos with 11. That is a lot of double-digit goal scorers right there. And when you look at it assist-wise, you got Neves in the midfield with 18. Hakimi, that fullback on attack like I was hinting at, he had 17 assists. Kvaratskhelia with 16. Dembele and Fabian both with 14, and then Vitinha with 11. So, now here we are with the tactic within FM24, and if you want to download it from the download section of the Discord, which I'll be linking below, it is Gormy's 433PXG. So, we have got Dembele up here on that false 9 on support, Kvaratskhelia, Doué. They're inverted wingers on attack. Fabian is a central midfielder on attack. Neves, box-to-box midfielder on support. Vitinha, roaming playmaker on support. Like I had said, I didn't really have a ball-winning role within this midfield trio, but I did include one playmaker. Then in the back line, we've got a fullback on support, fullback on attack, 2 ball-playing defenders on defend, and a goalkeeper on defend. With the false 9 on support, we have shoot less often, roam from position, move into channels, and mark tighter. The left inverted winger on attack has crosses aimed at center, shoot less often, roam from position, and mark tighter. The right inverted winger has crosses aimed at center, shoot less often, and mark tighter. The central midfielder on attack has crosses aimed at center, dribble more, shoot less often, move into channels, and mark tighter. The box-to-box midfielder on support, crosses aimed at center, dribble more, shoot less often, move into channels, mark tighter. The roaming playmaker on support and defensive midfield, dribble more, shoot less often, move into channels, mark tighter. Fullback on support at left back, cross more often. Cross from the byline, crosses aimed at center, dribble more, stay wider, mark tighter. Fullback on attack, cross from the byline, crosses aimed at center, dribble more, stay wider, and mark tighter. The ball playing defenders on defend both have dribble more and mark tighter. And the goalkeeper on defend was left as is. Mentality-wise, this is played with a positive mentality. You can choose to go balanced or attacking as well. And just like I mentioned with that Inter Milan tactic, if you do choose to go balanced, you can definitely push it up to positive or attacking within the match. When we are in possession with this PSG tactic, we've got fairly narrow attacking width, overlapping on the right, work the ball into the box, low crosses in the final third, slightly shorter passing directness, and slightly higher tempo. When in transition, we counter press and counter, distributing quickly to the flanks by taking long kicks. Once out of possession, we have a mid-block line of engagement, higher defensive line, and slightly more often trigger press. So, there we have it for today's Tactical Masterclass. I hope you guys did enjoy the dive into the PSG tactic as well as the Inter Milan tactic. Really looking forward to this Champions League final. Let me know down below in the comments who you think is going to win the final, as well as a score prediction too. I think that if it's based off of how these tactics performed in FM, I think PSG is going to win. But for my actual prediction, I'm going to predict Inter Milan winning 3-2. I think that it'll be a pretty entertaining match. But there we have it for today's video. If you did enjoy, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so why not hit that sub button. Right now on screen will be popping up some of my more recent videos here on the channel, so definitely make sure to check them out if you wish to do so. But until next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.